Welcome to the Real Talk with Missy and Fabio.
The honest side of real estate with all you must know to survive in this market.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to our podcast, Missy and Fabio Real Talk about everything. We have somebody very special guest, Chris Byrne. Did I say it right, Missy? Oh, are you guys laughing? What are you guys laughing at?
No, we're good. We're good.
It's very
Fabio.
good.
Oh, okay, perfect. All right.
I like the way you say it. I'm gonna have you. I'm gonna give you my phone, and you're gonna do my greeting on my cell phone.
There you go.
You see? That's
There you
great.
go.
That's great. Welcome.
Well, I've known Chris for years and watched him grow up in this business, and we just really wanted you to tell a little bit about your world starting out as a kid, growing up in the area, and then we'll talk about your company.
Well, let's see. We'll get through the early years pretty quick because there's not a lot there. But the Fredericksburg area is home. Mm-hmm. We were born here. Did all of my formal schooling here. I graduated from local high school, Stafford High School, in the 90s. Well, 99, right? So we went to
Still
the
in
latest,
the
90s. Latest possible. And let's see here. So started working in the area in banking, and in the early 2000s switched over to a new construction industry and became a salesperson. Actually, I could tell you exactly when it was. It was July 5th, 2005.
Wow, that's it.
I still know the combos to your doors.
And why that's important is at that time, the market was way up here. Mm-hmm. And then like July 6, 2005, it started to do this. Yeah. So at the time, I worked with a wonderful company located in Caroline County, Virginia. And I stayed there until the fall of 2011, where I came to the company that I'm currently working with. It's Atlantic Builders. Mm-hmm. So been with Atlantic since the fall of 2011. Goodness, let's see, and so just over 10 years. And in that 10 years, we went from delivering, I think, about 45 homes my first year to this year we'll deliver somewhere around 280 homes.
Wow.
How many subdivisions are there now versus what you started out? Was it just one?
Well, let's see here. When I first came, we had, the business was pretty much building mostly on like Stafford, a little bit of Spotsylvania County, and we were building on acreage home sites. It's one of the special features of what we do. We build on all sorts of home sites, but a large acreage home site, something that is built with well and septic type utilities. Not a lot of builders are experts in that, and we are. Right. So we were building in 2011 probably a handful of communities. These were communities that might have been started early 2000s, sometimes even older than that. And we were being opportunistic in buying home sites that were sometimes bank-owned. They were REO properties, or maybe they were at the tail end of a development, and we were just able to buy those home sites at current market rates, and we did well doing that. Now, I'd say that was mainly in the Fredericksburg area.
Right.
It would be a lot easier to say where we're building instead of the number of communities. Mm-hmm. We're still building heavily in Stafford, Spotsylvania, but we're also have been for the last 5 years in Prince William County in the Haymarket and Knoxville area.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's a really nice area.
It's been wonderful.
Kind of cheap there.
I guess it depends what you're comparing it to, but we just opened up a brand new model there, and we're doing well. We've also been for the last 5 years in the Charlottesville market. Shenandoah Valley, we're building quite a few homes in Waynesboro. We built, in the Louisa County, Zion's Crossroads, Spring Creek. We built quite a few homes there for a number of years. And later this fall, we'll be doing our first big community called Southwood, which is located in Albemarle, just right off of 5th Street. It's a incredible story. It's currently a mobile home park that's owned by Habitat for Humanity, and there are a few hundred community members that live there, and they live in some pretty tough environments, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you think about housing, it's a need for life, right?
Yeah.
Quality having quality housing is
Mm-hmm.
probably more important, and these folks don't have it, but they have property in a great location. And with Habitat for Humanity, they're redeveloping this entire community, and the members of that community, and forgive me, I forget what the cutoff date was, but it's years ago. The members that live there, they're going to move into a brand new residence.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's great. That's really.
So the trailers and all that are going to go away and you're building a new...
They'll go away,
Mm-hmm.
and Habitat will develop however many hundreds of lots,
Mm-hmm.
and those home sites are going to be used to build these new residents for the community members there. And these aren't free homes. These folks work for these and they qualify for these.
Right.
But they're going to be put in a much healthier environment. And Habitat is selling to right now it's two builders. It's us and another local company in Charlottesville. What they would call like a market rate lot. Like you go out and you buy a lot, but
Right.
we have to pay full price for it.
Right.
And we've contracted, somewhere over 100 home sites. So we'll we buy them and we start building. So Habitat will have the residents that they'll be building units for them, and we'll have some pretty cool townhomes that we're building. And we'll be selling those market rate, just like any other one of our communities.
That's awesome.
It's
What's
pretty
going to be the
amazing.
price range around?
It's a good question, right? So
You don't ask them about
I would say-
prices.
Well, right now,
It changes every week.
I would say for anybody in real estate, or actually take it even further than that. It's like any business that has some sort of product or
At
commodity.
this point, you can't quote.
Yeah.
Pricing's really difficult. Now I can tell you what we expect it to be.
Yeah.
If we were here today selling, we would probably be selling in the mid 400,000s.
Okay.
Right.
Because I was reading an article that right now is with the building industry, it's a little bit better than before. We're talking about the COVID, with the material, the people that works for the industry. So it's getting like a little bit more relaxed and time as a time manners. I don't know. That's what I read.
I want those articles sent to me because there's probably good articles and then there's the other articles and it's probably somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, that's always after two sides.
Yeah. Well, what did they say was getting?
Like it was getting
improved?
better because the times manners with everything on the material and stuff like that, and the people that works in the industry, that you can have more people now that can before, so that can times manner to finish the houses and stuff like that. So that's
Sure.
where,
So if you talk about like supply chain and materials,
supplies, materials.
and then you have the probably the most important key is labor and people. People are always the most important thing, because good people that have good skills are going to provide good homes. Is it getting better? I could say that it's still a challenge. Those are probably some of the largest challenges. Supply chain, if one thing gets better, there's probably something you haven't thought about that's going to be a little bit more troublesome. I'll say this, it's not an issue getting lumber. There's plenty of lumber out there, but it's, multiplied in price, 5, 6, 7 times over what it was 2.5 years ago.
That's crazy.
That's tough, right?
That's crazy.
That's true.
Things that you might not think about. Let's talk about microchips. It's interesting. We're in a place that's got these new cars, and people talk about car shortages. Right?
We had to wait a year for a car.
Right, and a lot of it's because of microchips. I mean,
Right.
what doesn't have a microchip?
Right, everything does.
Right, your appliances have
Yeah.
microchips, right?
Yeah.
So if you think about that, that's something that affects supply chain, right?
Yeah.
You can't. I mean, how can you move into a new home without an oven or a refrigerator? You
Microwave,
can't,
yeah.
right?
That's true.
Here's a challenge. It was over a year ago. There was the big winter storm in Texas. If you guys remember, it froze over and it caused a very large disruption in a resin factory.
Oh.
We still haven't recovered from that.
So do you see a timeline that maybe things might recover? Or is there ever going to be a recovery? Are we always going to be behind the
As far
power
as,
curve for new
as-
construction? Or
As far as
5 years. Somebody said something like they thought 5 years we would recover, but we still are behind as far as a production request.
Yeah, I would say that. You do have an issue with producing. I mean, overall, this is just my opinion, but if you look at our region's housing, it's lack of supply in a lot of places, right? I mean, you don't have very much supply for resale, and you need a healthy balance of resales.
It's totally out of whack.
With a healthy balance of resales, with enough supply, it helps keep prices, healthy, but it doesn't put supply so constrained that it's too much of a seller's market. And if I have a home to sell, which, I have some home to sell, but like me personally, let's say I wanted to sell a home, I wanted to, nobody moves because it's awesome to move, even though you just told me a company that will pack your stuff up and move you, and that sounds good, because moving,
it's scary in a way,
But I mean, if there is some pain point that I have, like my kids are getting older and I've got to get to a better yard or a bigger house because it's
or grandma's moving in with
or
you
something, then where am I gonna go? If inventory is at a 3-week, level, where am I going to go? Do I feel confident that I'm going to sell my house without having someplace to go? Yeah. Probably not. So what's the next option, right?
Well, this is why you have come into play, because you're the next option for us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because they can stay in their homes
right
until the house, you get your OP or whatever, and we're ready to move forward, and then we put that house on the market, and it's fairly painless to do new construction right now.
It's probably the easiest solution.
Although it takes 8 months to a year maybe to build a home
depending
now?
on where it is. Yes, yes, absolutely. Having a home that's a quick move-in is very difficult.
We don't.
Those sell pretty quickly. If someone were to come into, like for example, we build in a community inside of Fawn Lake called Orchard Hill. And let's say we had someone come visit us in our model home today. It's April 1st. We would be quoting them a delivery of sometime in November or December. So that's about 8 months. It's sometime this year.
So how does it work? I mean, for our people that are listening too, I think this is the hardest thing for all of us to get over. Today's pricing, today's interest rate, and we're going to close 8 months down the road.
Right.
Just tell our folks really how you all handle that, what the options are.
Well, let's see here. It's the answer to the first question is like, how do you handle both pricing? Well, we want to have, we want to be competitive with our pricing, because even in a tight market, we still have competition.
Absolutely.
And we still have a need for sales. One of the trouble things that you'll run into here is, even though there's a need for more housing, we just can't produce as many houses as we could possibly sell. If you've ever heard the term of pigs get fat and hogs get slaughtered, this is that type of environment, right? You could take all these orders, but your manufacturing company, which is what we are, we can't fill those orders because of manpower, right? You want to have excellent trade partners. There's not enough to build all the homes. You have to have enough home sites available.
Right.
That's not a lot. That's not, there's a finite amount of homes of land that can be built on. And then you got to make sure that you can actually, have all of the supplies on the site that you need. And we've already kind of talked about where it's a little bit difficult to get that. So we are open for sales. What we do, we have a limited amount of production that we can take on each month. And we have availability in each one of our communities. We do set our pricing at market. All of our prices are predetermined. Our options are predetermined. Someone could come into that model home I mentioned. They could go to Fawn Lake. They could sit with our sales manager, Patty Talbot. Patty can show the home site options that are available, the home types that we offer. They can make a buying decision that day and get the process started. They would be able to select all their what we would call structural type options, like garage options or basement options, and then that would secure them a home site. They would have a delivery window, And then the only other thing they've got to do is go to our brand new 3,000 square foot design studio and make all their personalized selections. And at that point, it's a fairly simple process.
So, is the price locked in when the contract is ratified? How does that, is
So-
it variable still, or how are you working on that?
So you'd be asking if there's like an
So-
escalation period.
Yes, it's so interesting. I was
Yeah,
listening
so
to
cl-
again
yeah.
our what is it called, Clubhouse the other day,
Yeah.
and they were talking about that they were like 3/4 of the way through, and then all of a sudden the price of the house had gone up, and this is in California,
Sure.
a crazy amount of money. So the builder was fine with the people walking away,
Sure.
losing your earnest money,
Sure.
and now we can turn around and sell it for $80,000 more.
Gosh, that sounds like an
Not
interesting time. That's not fun. You know, buying a home's like pretty emotional, right?
It is.
But
It's terrible.
That's you know, from the building. That sounds like a pretty logical decision, not so much an emotional one. But to answer your question, I can't answer it for the entire building industry because I have read
No,
articles
for
like
you all.
that.
For you all.
I've read it in multiple states.
Because I've sold a lot
Sure.
of your houses over the last 10
So,
years.
Missy, I have two different type of programs. We buy communities, we'll develop some. If someone's coming to see us and they're acquiring a home site in one of our homes on something that we own and it's a turnkey package, yes, your prices are locked in.
Okay.
If
I think that's the thing that people are afraid of because
Right.
people don't hear the good; they only hear the bad. So
it's
that's why
well, you remember I told
trying to
you
pull
that-
it out of you.
Remember I told you we can only sell what we can
Yeah,
I
produce.
got it. No, I
Yes,
got
yes.
it.
That's it, and this is very difficult from a sales side because at heart, we're all salespeople. If we have people saying, "Oh, we love your product, we love your homes, we want to buy it," and I want to go, "Yeah, I want to build them all,"
Right.
but it's not likely.
Yeah.
So where you can get yourself in trouble is taking too many orders, and then that 8-9 months turns into 13, 14, 15, 16 months. And at that far out in an inflationary environment where products are increasing, that's where you have to include things like escalation clauses.
Okay.
So by us being very,
You're conservative in your mentality.
it's conservative. I would call it very disciplined.
Okay.
That we know exactly what we can produce and the timelines that we can deliver it, which allows us to lock in those prices.
Okay.
So while we might not be able to service everybody that's coming into the door, at least the ones that we can, we're making the process as easy and as transparent, and trying to remove that fear of the unknown as much as possible.
Well, that's that's great because that's what really buyers looking for. To be honest, sometimes
It's hard.
everybody's kind of afraid right now. Oh my God, new construction, then how much is going to be the house, and everything like that.
Right.
But that when you get somebody like your construction, well, it's a peace of mind for everybody. That's what we're talking
Well,
about.
this is what I'm trying to convey to our sellers. We have so many people that, Missy, I want to sell. The market's insane. We know that we can walk away with a chunk of change, but where are we going to go? So this is.
So that you're right. That's why it makes new construction easy. Now I wouldn't be 100% transparent if someone was owning their own home site, because we build on it. If you owned your own land and it was in our region that we build, and you say, "Hey, I love your Bridgewater model. I want to put it on my piece of property that I own on the lake over here." We'll do that for you.
Oh, okay.
Now I can lock in pricing, but only at once we get to a certain point.
Right.
Because when I buy a home site, I do so much upfront work that we are ready to sell it and go to permitting pretty quickly. But on your home site, there's a lot of extra work that
So
gets
you're
involved.
talking about the infrastructure. See, people don't even understand, though, that really when you acquire the dirt, how much work goes in ahead before you even
months.
are ready to, so permitting and all that. Can you kind of start from just the scratch from the very beginning?
Well, let's see. This would really go for anyone who's acquiring, a vacant home site to purchase as an investment or to build on. But you're going to go through a period of study, right? You're going to, in an environment where your utilities are private, like well and septic, you're going to need to find out exactly what type of soil composition you have and what it perks for. Perks meaning that what type of drain field and how many lines can I put in, so I can decide if it's a 3-bedroom or a 4-bedroom or
He's an important guy. Somebody wants to buy a house.
You're going to have to cut that one out. So, when you're studying the property and you're determining the drain field, that's a study, right? Mm-hmm. And right now, that's takes a special person that comes out and does that evaluation, and authorized on-site soil evaluator. They're pretty educated and
yeah,
demand.
there's like 2 of them
There's only
in the whole world.
There's only so many of them, right? So in a busy environment, it might take a few weeks or a month to get them out there. So you've got to do your soil testing, and then you have to do additional soil testing in most localities to test what type of soil, if it shrinks well. Right, because that depends. That depends on the type of foundation you put in.
Absolutely.
If it's expanding and contracting. Is there an HOA with an architectural review board? Is what I want to build, is it going to fit within that? You got to study that. You have to find out if you're a builder like us, where we offer maybe 7 designs in a community. Like, what designs am I able to put on this particular piece of property, because they all don't fit,
right?
Or some are better for others. So you have to get an engineer involved with that. This is everything that we have to do up front. Then you get the whole marketing side. We gotta get all of our signs. We gotta get models ready.
And the county.
That could be months.
Dealing with the county could be forever.
It depends on
which county.
It depends on where you're at. As far as like if these were finished home sites, let's say that the home site's already recorded, and all I have to do is buy the lot and do that. Then at that point, I'm just doing a building permit, and it's just like everybody else. The localities are, they're doing the best they can with what they have and labor, and again, when the option is mostly construction over inventory, all those building permits, they have to get approved by that same group of people. Right. So they're doing the best they can.
So when we bring a client to you, mm-hmm. what's just kind of run through for our people, kind of what's the protocol, the steps that everybody goes through? Just real brief, because it could take forever.
It could take a while.
Just real brief.
Well, so I would say anybody who wants to visit and follow along with this, we have a resource on our website, and you can also find this in all of our model home sales centers. We have a path to ownership.
Okay.
Right. This is something that we put out there. It looks like a little game board. It's very simple to follow.
Right.
But to get started, traditionally, you make an appointment. You come see our sales managers within our communities, and we're going to, of course, take the time to really find out through a discovery process of what are the needs and what are the pain points that we're trying to cure, so we can make sure that we're providing the right home style mm-hmm. options in the right communities in the right locations.
Don't you love it when the husband and the wife have 2 different things going on?
I've never seen that before.
Yeah, right.
Everybody that we built, they all 100% agree.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. I can tell you from all the homes that I've built for myself, I've gotten 3-car garages, but everything else, it's because that's what Mrs. Burns would like.
I believe that.
And that's important.
As it should be.
You have a happy marriage then.
Yeah, right.
It happens to me too.
Yeah, absolutely. But, so, we want to be able to make sure that we're providing the right solutions to the problems that are in front of us.
Right.
Within our, model home, we have multiple model homes within this area of our 1-level homes, our multi-level homes. I've got a townhome community here in Spotsylvania, just near the Spotsylvania Regional Medical, that we're going to start selling here in a couple months.
Awesome.
I have and that's Foxcroft. Mm-hmm. I have a community called Afton Villas, which is located off of Mine Road, just down the street here. That's a mile away from the brand new VA hospital. That's a 55 and up attached community. Mm-hmm. So we have a lot of different.
Is it?
Yeah.
What is that?
Oh,
so are they townhouses or 1 level?
They are attached villas. So
2?
So they're attached, and there might be a row of 4, 5, 6, something like that. But mm-hmm. they're wide, so they have 2-car garages. They have outdoor living spaces. They have basements on all of these because,
we have to go see this.
We do.
That's storage.
We need something we can wheelchair into.
Well, they do have stairs, right?
I'm just teasing.
But they have but mostly everything's on that main level. The master bedroom, the kitchen, all that's on the main level. There is an upstairs. There's pickleball courts, and So that's here locally. So we actually, this is an exciting year for Atlantic, where we have all these different types of communities.
That's awesome.
But when you bring your clients, depending on what community, what their need is, we're going to make sure that we're placing them in the right location. All of our sales team is trained that they can complete purchase agreements on site, so we can help potential homeowners make sound decisions and make buying decisions and get things locked in the day they come in.
Okay.
It's made to be as easy as possible for something that
It's painful.
It's
sometimes.
really not an easy thing to do.
Yeah,
if you
yeah,
think
yeah.
about it.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
The easy part is acquiring the home, and it's fun, and then it has to be built, and then you've got to move.
Well, then it gets quiet though after a while. Like you do your contract, everything's picked out, everybody's all excited, and then it's like the waiting period.
The waiting period.
And then everybody gets a little impatient.
It's the if you looked at buying a home and you had it on one line, and then you have your ups and your downs, your troughs, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like a wave, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you buy here, you're super excited, and then you're waiting for your design appointment. Then you have your design center selections, and it's super excited.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're permitting, and you're down here, and you feel like nothing's happening. Well, there's
Yeah,
a lot of
that's- yeah,
stuff
that's-
happening. Missy, I will tell you that I mentioned it earlier, that fear of the unknown, like with those escalation clauses, fear of the unknown is probably the worst thing that could happen to a homeowner during the building process. Fear of the unknown happens because expectations might not be set appropriately, or follow through might be lacking, or constant and clear communication might be lacking.
That's what I was going to say. To be heard and to be communicated with is the biggest deal, even for us on
For us,
every
yeah.
transaction, but for you guys too. Every time when we have a new build, I think if the communication line, the update every Friday or every Tuesday is huge.
Yeah.
That's the Path to Ownership on the website. That's a resource that everyone can look at, and it talks about our weekly progress updates. There's a period of time when we're building. When we break ground, it's a team effort, right? You have your community building team, which could consist of a project manager and an assistant project manager, and you have your sales manager, and they're all working together every day to make sure that the needs of our homeowners are being met, that things are being installed, that any follow-up is being done. But every week that those teams define a time with our homeowner that they're going to call them and give them an update on what we accomplished the previous week, what's on schedule the following week, what you should be preparing for in a couple weeks. You might need to start preparing to take some time off to do a pre-drywall walkthrough.
Right.
Hey, we're hitting these milestones. You need to make sure that you're communicating with your lender and getting ready to go. That makes it so much easier.
Yeah.
Instead of your homeowner having to call you, we're calling them.
Well, you all take pictures and everything too, don't you? And send pictures
Some
of
of
some.
that's not. I'll tell you what. We have a lot of requirements, right?
But
That's
I mean,
not
some of your
one of the
one of your
requirements.
sales reps does that, though,
Yeah.
and she's awesome
We
about it,
have
and the
a-
people really appreciate
We have
that.
a few sales managers that do go above and beyond, and they do that. And they've done a creative thing. We actually have something that we're getting ready to beta test in the coming weeks that should be kind of fun. So.
And you
I
have
think
to tell us what it is.
it's it has something to do with our homeowners and having an app, and then having those types of
Oh, fun.
Oh, okay.
and having some other types of updates available at their fingertips.
Very cool.
It'll be good for them, but hopefully it's good for us too, because they're showing their friends and coworkers their
Nice.
new house
Yeah.
being
Yeah,
built.
absolutely.
So path to ownership,
Okay.
weekly calls, and then we have the homeowner's guide. All right, so that is a reference source that each one of our homeowners are going to get when they first acquire their home. I would like to say there is nothing that I'm telling you now that can't be found in that book.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Right? I'm not that creative. It's in a book. If I know what's in that book, then I can set the right
Well,
expectation.
it's an SOP, right? Standard operating procedure. Everybody loves that.
And I can say, here, you take this book home, and you read this, and you bring this to your other appointments, and when you come, and I'm basically telling you the same thing that you've already read, then what does that do to the fear of the unknown? It kind of removes it out of the equation.
Yeah.
Right.
Makes
Right.
it a fun experience. a fun process. It takes something that is a highly emotional experience and adds joy to it, because it could be tough.
Yeah, we all like a little joy.
Yes, we do.
So for the realtors, since that's kind of our world, what would you suggest as far as like helping educate their client, coming with their client, being a part of the process?
Yes, I would say that being a part of the process is very important, right? Because if
don't just sign them up and show up the first time and
that's it.
Then show up at settlement table.
I think with I would say with all the local real estate agents who do business with us, if they're not, I would encourage everyone to go to our website and sign up for our inner circle. We make special announcements available, like when communities are opening online, if a home becomes available. That's where we're sending out that information first. So that's our commitment to our partners in real estate sales, is to make information readily available. How a realtor or any real estate agent who has a client that can help them, being with them is very important. Someone who is trained in digging down to the details of discovery and really understanding their clients' pain points and what they need and what they're trying to accomplish ahead of the appointment is really critical. And even if that can be fed to the community sales manager prior to the appointment, oh my gosh, that communication between realtor and Atlantic Builder salesperson, if they have those initial conversations, and when the homeowner comes in together, oh my, you're starting off, you started the race off way down the path. Your client's going to be blown away because of how engaged that they already are from the communication that you provided. So, preparation, being a part of the process early on, that's going to be very important. I would want all real estate agents to understand, especially with Atlantic Builders, while we are very transparent and we are offering a lot of updates, we are doing it through the homeowner.
Right.
So it's very important that throughout the process that they're still engaged with the homeowner, because we send out notices and documents to everybody, but the verbal updates and things, they're traditionally going to our homeowner.
And to be honest, I think that's a part of our job to be engaged with the client, because it's very scary for them. So really they feel like the support when you are there, even that you don't even have to say any word, just listen to. But they feel that that you really are with them, and that's something that I think that's part of our job.
Well, and especially for English is not your first language.
Yeah.
I think do you have Spanish speaking?
We have a Spanish speaking lender. We do not have a Spanish speaking sales rep at this time, but that is something that would be wonderful.
Well, you have to call Fabio anyway, but
yeah, absolutely.
Well, I just feel like a lot of real estate agents though. Like we're working for, maybe we've written 8 contracts, lost 8 times, and finally the client says, "Oh my God, let's just do new construction." And so then you don't just drop the ball though. You come and you be a part of the whole process, the pre-drywall walkthrough, the, just going into the showroom and picking out, just show up, be there with them. It just makes me crazy to think that people walk away, and that's where we get a lot of bad reputation too. I think, oh yeah, you're just a conveyor belt from the client to the builder, and I don't think that that's something that should be operated.
well, we have to build like a relationship with everybody, and I feel like this is the best way you kind of. Right now, I'm doing a deal with a new contractor, and the communication being great, and then my clients feel so released and everything, because communication is the big part of this business, to be honest.
I think it's very important. And Missy, the thing that I like what you say, if you join them through the process, is, you've been through the process with us multiple times. If someone starts going through the process, they're going to be more educated on how the process works, how new construction works. I can only assume that's going to help their own personal business because of that knowledge that they have and what they're able to portray to their potential clients.
Absolutely. Well, we thank you. The only other thing I really wanted you to talk a little bit about Atlantic as a company, just how long and where and
Oh wow! Let's see here. Here's my elevator speech for Atlantic. So we were founded in July 1st, 1988. That was our first day in business, and our first home that we ever built was here in Spotsylvania, actually not too far from where we are.
Awesome.
Since then, it's gonna be 34 years this year. The company has grown back to, let's see, when I joined, I believe we had about 12 people that worked for the company. So that was about almost 11 years ago. To today, I think we're at 54, 55.
That's still not that big.
And yeah, you're right, it's not.
I mean, really,
we're
for
a
as
small
many houses
business.
as spread out as you are, that makes it more of a family
we are,
kind of mentality.
We are a local, privately owned small business. The founder of our company is still at our office every day working. The president of our company has been an employee since the company was 6 months old.
Wow.
Still leading and guiding. It's a pretty excellent group of people. We've talked about, we have websites, we have models, we have processes. There's a lot of great things that we do, but let's be kind of realistic. When we build homes, there's only so many framers out there. There's only so many foundation companies out there. There's only so many electricians, and a lot of builders use these same trades that we do. But what they don't have is they don't have our team of people, and they don't have our culture and what we find is important for us to operate in a business. And what's valuable to us is that we build relationships and we have delighted customers. It's important for us to have fun together. It's important to do the right thing. So one of the being a local business, I mentioned when we got started, we're participating with buying home sites in a community in Charlottesville and partnering with Habitat for Humanity. Philanthropy is a big portion of our culture.
That's awesome.
And for the last handful of years, we've been able to build a brand new home and donate the proceeds of the sale of that home to specific targeted nonprofit organizations within our community that we're supporting. Last year, and it's been one of the organizations that we've been giving to is like Germana, for example, because you mentioned something that was very important and something that I would like for everybody to know, that people, to build the homes and to do things. We want people to be able to go out and go to these schools and get scholarships. And that's why we provide money, because we want people to learn trades. Right? Not everybody needs to go to a university to become a psychologist, right? Well, I mean, I probably need someone.
That's what we major in psych.
Right, but we do need plumbers. We do need framers.
That's a huge thing right now.
To train younger people, actually any age, to train and to learn those trades. It's extremely valuable. It's a respectful job, and it is an excellent way to make an excellent living right now, because they do so that's something that we give back to, because it's something
that's awesome.
Because that does help us in the future and helps our community amongst a lot of other things.
Do any of the other high schools around here have a trades program? They do.
Yeah, actually,
Stafford does.
Stafford has the Boots program that we actually have a couple members of our team that are heavily involved with the Boots program. I know Mr. Jett and some of the names escape me, but for a number of years. Actually, I think I came through that like 20 years ago, but.
Now it comes back.
It must be a good program. Yes, Stafford does. I think Spotsylvania also has some vocational trades that they teach, but not a lot of people know that the local community college can help with that as well.
That's huge. That's the kids who helped us renovate our kitchen just recently. The nicest young man, an electrician and a plumber, and I'm like, are you really happy doing what you're doing, or did you go to? No, this is what I want to do. And they're learning the skill, and they make a bank and they probably one day will own their own company.
I am trying to convince my wife that our 3 daughters need to have an all-girls plumbing company.
Yes. Molly, Mary, and Martha.
Well, the world is changing, so it's not really like when we was born. Like you have to go to college and you have, because even sometimes.
Yeah, but look at the debt those kids are have now. They
that's
can't
what
even
I'm
buy a
talking
house
about, and they
because they're so in debt.
don't end up doing what they, what they really wants to, because they
What they
go
went
to
to school
college
for.
because parents say like you have
Yeah.
to go to college.
Yeah.
You have to get a degree.
Yeah.
You have to always learn,
Yeah.
and you always have to grow. But there's not a one path to do it. But I think if people are interested in that, this is a very respectable field to be in. There's I could tell you there's always the jobs are very sought after, and we're always looking for talented people.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Yeah,
It's
I'll
just,
come back
you have
anytime.
3 daughters now?
I have 3. We have our oldest, Audrey, is 13. Abigail's our second born. She'll be.
You have to make a lot of money,
She'll
man. There's a lot of weddings.
Goodness gracious. Her birthday's this month, and she's going to be 11. And then our youngest, Ann, is 8.
I think
All A's, so not Martha.
I love it. So I was just thinking of something with Manny, Mo, and Jeff is where I was going with. But we really appreciate you, and we will have you
so much,
back.
Mindy.
And I
Thank you
think
so much.
I think in our world right now, new construction is sometimes the better deal. You're getting new. You're not overpaying for something that's built in the 80s that needs a new roof and whatever else. So this is just reason, and I've always enjoyed having you in our world, Chris.
Thank you.
I'm going to be there next week.
And regional builders are who we really want to support too. It's more of a community give back too. That just a lot of the things you said we don't even know about. We didn't know about. So we really appreciate what you're giving back.
Yeah, we have a lot of knowledge now.
So
that we
this
can share
is
with the clients.
Missy and Fabio and Chris signing off. Please subscribe, and if you have any questions, we'll be more than happy to answer. Just throw them in the comments, and we'll get right back to you. Thank you.
All right. Goodbye, guys.
Happy Friday.
Thank you.
So glad you joined us today.
Please message us on Facebook, and Fabio and I will respond to all your questions as soon as possible.
Find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast,
or anywhere you listen to your podcast.